Welcome to the Smarmy Grin podcast, episode number 21, Hallows Eve. Welcome back, guys, to the Smarmy Grin podcast, episode number 21. This is your boy JL, the most listened to podcast on its channel, the best there is, the best there was, the best that ever will be podcast on my channel, meaning just me. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my Smarmy Grin podcast. A lot to talk about tonight, but mostly tonight I will be talking about Halloween, my favorite time of the year, my favorite quote-unquote holiday, which really it isn't a holiday, but it could be a holiday, and it should be a holiday. Come on, let's be honest. We all go out, most of us, and we all hang out during Halloween or that Halloween weekend, or if Halloween falls like on like the middle of the week, Mike, it's hump day. But if it falls on the middle of the week, we usually go out the night before or 2 nights before, because we all have to work for the most part. I'm only speaking for myself and my friends, so I'm assuming that a lot of you guys that are listening to my podcast are going through the same experience and same situation. So I'm assuming that you guys also want to party and hang out for Halloween. But now that you're older, you're being more responsible, which I am. So tonight, I really didn't do much of anything as far as Halloween. Came home after work, after a hectic drive home with all this traffic in Central Florida, and came home and basically just hung out and started watching the show that, speaking about Halloween, the show called The Mist on Netflix. And I'm actually loving this show. I'm not going to say it's right on par with Stranger Things, which is also on Netflix. The new season's on Netflix right now. But there's 10 episodes of this show called The Mist, and I absolutely love this show. I've been binging it for the last 2 days now. And since it is Halloween, and it was Halloween weekend, I started watching the show Sunday night, and I just finished it off tonight, Halloween night. And I have to say, you guys have to give this show a try. It's about the Stephen King novel The Mist, and I think this novel became a movie. They made it into a movie about 10 years ago, or maybe longer than that, maybe like 13 years ago. And I remember watching that as well on Netflix, and believe it or not, 4 or 3 actors that were in season 1, 2, and 3 of The Walking Dead are in that movie. Andrea being one of them, Dale being the other one, and I believe Carol was in one of them. I'm using the character's name from The Walking Dead, so all those 3 actors are in that movie, The Mist. If I recall the name of the movie, I'm pretty sure that's what the name of the movie was, The Mist. And I was really surprised when I saw this movie a couple of years ago, and being a Walking Dead fan and seeing them in that movie, and now watching the series on Netflix. And I have to say, this is a really, really good show, a well-written show, perfect for Halloween, but really perfect for any day or any night or any holiday. It is a bit scary, not too scary, but it does keep you on your seat, the edge of your seat, and it is very entertaining. After the first episode, I was hooked. Of course, with all these shows, the first episodes are kind of slow because they're trying to build things up. But as the episodes progressed, it just got better and better and better. By the end of the second episode, at the end of the second episode, I was already loving this show, and I absolutely liked this show a lot. And I just finished it off tonight, and man, I have to recommend this show. I have to recommend this show, The Mist. So watch it, look out for it. And what a perfect ending for me watching this show tonight on Netflix. So that was my Halloween night tonight. And also, tonight, I bought my house 6 years ago. It was August of 2011. And the person that I was with at the time, when we both moved into the house, we were talking about, that was around August, we talked about doing something for Halloween, and it was our first year in the house together, and we were like, let's do something for Halloween. Let's buy tons of candy, and let's give candy out, and let's just hang out at the house, and just give candy out all night, and just talk to the kids and stuff like that. And so anyways, we ended up buying bunch of bags of candy. We had like 2 big bowls full of candy, and we were so excited because we were like, oh my God, we have so much candy. So we're waiting for all these kids to show up and their parents to show up, trick-or-treating and all that. So we were ready. We got ready. We got ready. We popped in. We rented a movie. Of course, it was a Halloween movie. I think it was what movie was it? It might have been The Howling, if you guys remember that movie from the 80s, the werewolf movie. But anyways, we were watching that movie. It's a scary movie, and we waited. 6 o'clock rolls around, and we didn't hear any kids. 7 o'clock rolls around, and we're like, okay, they're gonna swing by anytime soon now, and nobody shows up. 8 o'clock rolls around, and we're sitting here, and we're like, okay, these kids are probably gonna start showing up now. Maybe their parents got off of work late, and they're just now going out into the neighborhood and trick-or-treating and all that. Nobody shows up at 8. So we waited. 9 o'clock rolls around. We're like, well, it's getting a little late, and I'm not sure if kids are going to swing by or their kids are still out trick-or-treating. And 9 o'clock passed by. No kids showed up. 10 o'clock, no kids showed up. By the end of the night, by 11 o'clock, we were so bummed out because we had bought so much candy and chocolate that we wanted to hand out for Halloween, and nobody showed up. So we were extremely disappointed. The next day, I brought that one bowl of candy. I brought it to work, and my girlfriend at the time, she brought that bowl of candy to her job, and that's how we got rid of the candy. Because I'm not really a candy guy. I do love chocolate, but once in a while. So we were completely disappointed because it was such a bummer. We bought all this candy, and we just wanted to interact and have a happy Halloween, just handing out candy, and it didn't happen. So move forward a year later, and we end up doing the same thing, and we buy more candy. We get ready, and we're like, maybe the problem is that we need to start early. So we started early the following year. Same scenario, nobody shows up, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the night, we're bummed out again. The year after that, we do the same thing, same results, and we're just like, okay, we're done. So in between that year and the following year, we break up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to give up on this Halloween thing. I'm by myself now, so I'm just going to buy tons of candy for all these kids. Same scenario, nobody shows up. I do it for one more year, nobody shows up. Of course, this year I was thinking about doing it, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to waste my money on all this candy, and then nobody shows up. So I didn't buy any candy, and guess what happened tonight? Every kid in the neighborhood showed up and knocked at my door, trick-or-treating, and their parents were there. And I was extremely not upset, but bummed out that I didn't have any candy. So I can't win with Halloween, man. So I'm done. I was completely, at the end of the night, I was just completely disappointed, and I'm a little disappointed that I didn't have any candy, but I'm more disappointed in the years that I bought candy and nobody showed up. But guess what? I'm not doing this again. I'm not buying any candy again. Bah humbug, like my friend used to say, or still says, about when you ask him if he likes country music. I don't hee-haw, I don't honk and tonk, I don't boot scoot. And that's the type of attitude that I have for Halloween now. I don't hee-haw, I don't honk and tonk, and I don't boot scoot for Halloween anymore. So I am done with Halloween and buying candy. And it was completely upsetting tonight that all these kids showed up and I didn't have any candy. And in the middle of this, I had to go to the store and pick up a couple of things. And I get in my car, and I see so many kids out with their parents, which is great, fantastic. I love seeing that because that's how it used to be when I was a kid. Every single kid in the neighborhood when I was a kid used to be out and about for Halloween. All of us and all my friends. And if you didn't like team up with your friends that evening, or if you didn't get together with your friends, somewhere down the line during that night, during Halloween, you were gonna bump into them somewhere. And that's how it was when we were kids. So tonight, I've noticed that there were a lot of kids in the neighborhood, more so than previous years. So I don't know, maybe it was because of the economy and the parents didn't want to take their kids out. Maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking that had to do something with it. When I first moved into my house, this was like 2011. So this went on for a couple of years. So I didn't see as many kids then that I did see tonight. So it was really encouraging, and it was really cool to see all these kids out and about with their parents, and seeing their parents out there, and their parents caring that much that they want to go out with them and just have a good time with them during Halloween. And I thought that was really cool. It really brought me back to my childhood when I was a kid. And even though I didn't go out trick-or-treating with my mom, I went out with all my friends and my cousins, and we had a blast. And obviously this was 30 years ago, so times are different then than they are now. So, but it was really, really neat to see that. And then tonight I saw these three kids. They had to be like teenagers, or maybe 12 years old or whatever. And I was like, man, I saw them, and I was like, I saw myself in them, and I was like, man, that was me when I was a kid. So that was really cool. That brought back so many memories. And as you get older, you start thinking about things like that even more. The things that you used to love as a kid, and the things that meant to you a lot when you were a kid. So anyways, I make my way to the store, and I had to go pick up a couple of things. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy some candy for the heck of it. So I'm looking at the candy, and I'm like, man, I don't know, man. If I buy 2 bags, if I bought them tonight, they would have been expensive. So I was like, if I buy this candy, like, nobody's going to show up. And I'm glad that I didn't buy it, because when I came back home, I had my lights on and all that, and nobody showed up in my place. So it's a good sign that nobody showed up in my place, because I didn't have any candy. I was going to buy it, and actually you guys are going to think this is ridiculous, but at one point when I was at the store, I was like, man, this candy is kind of expensive, man. Like this little bag, like almost $8. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I started thinking, maybe I should just buy like a couple of boxes of like Cheerios and just hand them out with like a soup spoon, one of those big spoons, and you go, here you go, kids. Here you go, kids. Here's your candy. Or some chocolate Cheerios or whatever. But I was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not that cheap. So I didn't do it, obviously. But it just crossed my mind. I was like, man, that candy is too expensive, man. So I was like, they're price gouging on Halloween. So so I was like, maybe I'll just buy those Cheerios, man. But I didn't do it. I was like, man, whatever. You know what? I'm done. I'm going to keep celebrating Halloween, but I'm not going to buy candy anymore. I've wasted all that money in previous years and all that. And I just can't do it anymore, bro. I just can't, dude. I can't do it anymore. But I completely forgot that today was Halloween, that today was the 31st. And in my last podcast, I kept saying, hey, happy Halloween, which it wasn't. It was the 30th. I don't know what the heck is going on with me, man, but I'm just like sleepwalking through the day. And I'm a zombie like throughout the day. And I'm completely clueless now of what date and what day it is, and it's really, really pathetic, man. I really got to get into this. I really got to keep up with just the regular daily routine and all that. It's kind of sad what I don't even know the date, especially Halloween, because I love Halloween so much. And I seriously thought that the 31st was when I did my last podcast, which was last night. So if you guys heard episode number 20, I kept saying, happy Halloween, guys. I hope you guys have a happy Halloween. But that wasn't the case because it wasn't a happy Halloween. That was false advertisement on my part. Sorry, and I apologize. But anyways, it was a good day, though. I just have to say, great day. Can't complain with the weather. The weather was amazing. Loved it. On tonight's podcast, I wanted to keep this short. Probably going to keep it under 30 minutes. I just wanted to talk about Halloween, and there's a few stories that came out today that I really don't want to go into right now, especially the terrorist attack in Lower Manhattan in New York City, not too far from Ground Zero. So, and I really don't want to get into that right now. It's just it happened late this afternoon, so we're just getting you're just getting information. We all are getting information on what really happened down there, and the person that was involved is obviously a terrorist attack. But man, this is it just sucks, man. This is gonna be, unfortunately, this is gonna be the norm, and you just have to keep your eyes peeled. So. It's another sad situation with another demented lunatic individual. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, Halloween tonight, absolutely loving it. I absolutely love this time of the year. I'm just gonna reminisce a little bit, but I just remember when I was a kid, just going out with my friends. And when I was like 12 years old, 10 years old, getting on our bikes and just taking off and just going to McDonald's, because McDonald's back in those days, so used to hook you up with candy, going to like Walgreens or Eckerd's or all these different stores, and they would hook you up with candy. And then the places to go for us, or the place to go for us, was the old Colonial Plaza Mall here in Central Florida. And the reason why that was the best place to go to when I was a kid was because a lot of the elderly people, retired people, used to hang out there. And the elderly and retired people, they love kids. So we used to go there, and that was the best place to go for Halloween, to go trick-or-treating. They used to do Halloween costumes there, which is awesome. They used to do costume competitions there, which is great. I remember one year, this kid that made his own Ghostbusters costume, he won it, and that was really cool. Of course, I had like my little Spider-Man costume, and it's still a good-looking costume. Till this day, I still think that was like the coolest costume ever that I've ever worn. But I just remember going to the Colonial Plaza Mall and as a kid and riding my bike there with my friends. And this place, towards like the last 5 years of this place, it wasn't as busy as it used to be because the Fashion Square opened up right across the street from it. But a lot of people still went there, and a lot of the elderly people still went there. So when we used to go there, you used to have a lot of these elderly people that used to work in the mall as well. And a lot of the older people, the elderly, were part of that World War II generation. In my opinion, the greatest generation ever. There's a reason behind that they were the greatest generation, because they were. And every Halloween that we went to that mall, and every single store that we hit, the older ladies, the elderly ladies, the retired ladies that worked in those stores, they used to hook up the kids with even more candy. They're like, here you go, kid, just take this and just take more candy. And it was great because by the time you were leaving that mall, you had so much candy in your bag that you had like basically a lot of weight on one side of your handlebar. So you had to really be careful like riding back home. But it was such a great time just going to that mall and meeting and talking to these older people, the World War II generation people. And it was just an amazing time for me. And I still, till this day, I still miss that. And when I was a kid, Orlando, and I'm here in Central Florida, and in Orlando, you used to have a lot more retired people living here, more elderly people living here. So you used to see them everywhere, and they were so nice because they would talk to you and they would give you advice, and they would just take the time just to guide you, you know, or give you advice and guide you in the right direction. And that's what I miss about old Central Florida. And I don't mean it in a literal way, yes, but I just miss those days because you had people like that cared about the community and cared about kids, us kids. And that's the interaction that I miss the most when, as far as like growing up here in Central Florida. And it was just an amazing time for me because I had such a great time, especially during the holidays and Halloween, and bumping into a lot of retired people and elderly people at the mall and just everywhere. So, and they were so nice and extra nice, especially during Halloween, because they used to hook us up with so much candy, man. Oh my God, so much candy. Like I would have so much candy that I would just, like a lot of my friends and I, we would just take that candy to school and just like hand it out because there was so much candy. But that's what I miss about the Halloween, my Halloween of the past, growing up here in Central Florida. But it was a great day, regardless. It was a really, really good day. And I'm going to keep this podcast short. I just wanted to share that with you guys as far as my experience growing up here in Central Florida during Halloween and during the holidays. And I'm going to call it a night, guys. Thank you for listening again. Thank you very much on the Smart Me Grand podcast short episode number 21. So I will be talking to you next time on episode 22. And if I can keep the dates right, then I will be okay. All right, guys. I hope y'all have a great week. And I will talk to you on episode number 21 on the Smart Me, 22 on the Smart Me Grand podcast. All right, guys. Talk to you later. See ya.